LCK Cup trophy looming here. It's on the center of the stage, right in front of this massive audience. It'll be the first trophy B&K lift, if they can do it here tonight. But a bit of a rough start in this series thus far. First pick is theirs. They'll take away the Aurora, interestingly, right off the bat.
Yeah.
With Gnar gone, clears Renekton stocks go up quite significantly. I don't know if that's first pickable in this scenario, but something to consider here for sure.
Yeah, Aurora always a good ban against Gen.G as well because Keen plays it so often, and obviously it can be flexed between mid and top. So just a good idea, but could mean that he plays something that's melee that he doesn't want to have to deal with Keen's Aurora eventually. Also going to ban away the Vi, even after the Rumble ban. Still not willing to let that one go over.
I'm now wondering if Diablo is interested in a first pick Yunara here in this second game. Karma is taken away again, as that does really shoot the Lulu stocks priority there through the roof in this scenario in game 2. If they don't ban the Yunara, I think they're hoping to pick it here, or at least force a ban from Gen.G. A lot of thought going into this one. The Orianna, obviously a really strong contender for that first pick position as well. This moment in time with Nocturne also available. Don't want to give that over to Gen.G when they have 2 picks. As they will ban the Nautilus. I think they want that Yunara first pick.
Yeah, it appears so. But now you just leave Orianna up. And Chovy says, okay, are you really going to give me Orianna? And the answer will probably be yes. Which is not very good for B&K.
They could just ban like anything here, really, and feel pretty good about it. Xin Zhao, a tank in the top lane. They'll ban the Yunara ultimately. Wow. Avikla should be able to pick up the Orianna here. That's a lot of respect shown to Diablo.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that is, when you see that right there, that is a statement from Gen.G. And I think Orianna's incredibly strong. We could get Orianna Nocturne, but I am just not going to deal with Diablo's Yunara in this situation. I'm not going to allow it, no matter what, even with a heavy cost. Just make that choice. That is a lot of respect.
Yeah, I mean, Rilla could have easily said, it's okay, I can deal with this. Instead, they just ban it away, and it's kind of crazy that they do.
And with no Karma and no Yunara, looks like they're just deciding, you may have the hottest mid laner on the patch, but we've got the hottest bottom lane duo. That is, there's no lane that you could play that could deal with this well. Now, we have seen Yuumi neutralize this a little bit. So will we see the Ezreal Yuumi here with the Orianna setup on the side of B&K? Doesn't really spell a strong Orianna composition out the gates. But they'll get the Nocturne instead. I prefer this than trying to just slam the Yuumi right now.
Yeah.
Because this is just so much more robust of a combo. I think you're going to have to sack bottom lane. And ooh, they even get the Renekton on top of it. I think they didn't fall into the trap that a lot of other teams would have in this rotation.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I mean, now obviously mid jungle very strong for the side of B&K, but bottom lane is just incredible for Gen.G. And you know, Chovy's going to put a lot of thought into what he wants to play here. It has to be something that can somewhat survive against this, and he's considering the Galio.
They could also just go for Mundo and look for something else later on. Instead, they will grab the Galio. Really strong. Any sort of frontliner that can take a lot of hits is always going to feel great when you have the Seraphine Ashe. You can set up any sort of CC like taunt, the arrow comes through. And then if you can get a taunt to set up the encore, that's amazing. But just your body alone will extend the range of the ultimate. The Nico will get banned away here. One of the only ranged champions left that could potentially help a lane go toe-to-toe with this Ashe Seraphine. And I expect we'll probably just see a Yuumi ban in that final spot as well. What else they would like to take away?
Yeah, I mean, when you go down the list, you know, there's Yuumi, there's Lulu. If you want to try to play a melee support into it, we did see Nautilus. I think that was yesterday. Didn't really work out. But it's just going to be the Zeri instead.
Zeri, Yuumi, all-ins we've seen find great success. Pays proved this already. You flash the arrow or you flash the encore and look for the all-in timing. It is very strong. So the question becomes now, what does Diablo and Kellen want to play in this bottom lane? Because the Ezreal Yuumi is strong in its own right, but doesn't necessarily suit their composition. They'll at least have a little bit more information before they have to make that choice here of what the jungle or the top lane is going to look like and how much frontline the Ezreal might have to cut through in this draft. The Xin Zhao and the Wukong were great bans. We've really thinned out the pool significantly here for Canyon, and it looks like he's going to opt for this Ambessa, but the great part is it's still technically flexible.
Yeah, still technically. Just depending on what they see in terms of the whole comp, but generally not wanting to put the Ambessa against their Renekton. But he could. I mean, Keen as well blind picked the Gwen and was fine with that. So let's see what we see in the bot lane.
Ezreal Yuumi, some sort of Lucian lane sounds almost suicidal. Going for the Kalista into Ashe Seraphine is one of the boldest choices I think you could ever make.
Yeah. Well, it's Kalista Renata. If you're going to pick Kalista, you're picking Renata, right?
This does weaken a Kennen pick, because I thought maybe they would consider the Kennen here into the Renekton, because they also don't have really the magic damage in this draft right now. And Kennen really struggles into this. Zahin, similar story, frankly, and is going to have a little bit of a tough time in the early lane. And with the Ambessa, into Renata and Kalista, which is relatively difficult to dive, there isn't as much agency here for Canyon in the bottom lane through that Prio. Bikla, if he can get Prio in the mid lane, they can play through that Nocturne post 6. I don't like the bottom 2v2 matchup. I think we will all agree on that. Diablo is really going to have to show us something that we've never seen before, and Kellen will have to hit some amazing handshakes. They're going to have to dodge everything from Duro in order to make this work, but maybe they'll just sit under turret and look for a mid-game power spike instead through bailout. I do think, and maybe this would be controversial to say, but I like this draft for BNK versus Gen.G's better than I like the ratio in Game 1. In Game 1, it felt completely unplayable to me. In this game, I think there are certainly some angles, and there's, once again, a lot of comfort here for these players on these picks on the BNK side.
What I will say is that Orianna Nocturne can absolutely make Seraphine's life hell, you know, just blow her up before she's really able to do anything. But if you don't get the combo off and everybody's like melee range into Seraphine Ashe, you just lose. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel very good to me, Wolf. And it does feel like one thing is clear, not just the top laner of BNK, but that Gen.G's drafting is on point today. And I think they have done a great job. We'll see if they can make it happen once again in the gameplay as we hop into the Rift for game at number 2.
All right, Valdez, here we go. Game 2. Jovi's Galio, drafted early. Great news, kid. It is going to be a tough game for BNK with this draft, but they have tools. They have the global of the Nocturne. Like you mentioned, it's very easy to kill Seraphine with this pick and the setup they have. But in a lot of ways, it feels like whether it's Seraphine or anybody else, in order to win team fights, they will have to win them 5v4 at worst case scenario, with the combo eliminating someone essentially out of the fight. So then Diablo can get bailed out, and then they can continue the fight from there, because you're playing into Ashe slows, you're playing into Taunt from Chovy, you're playing into Zahin, who will likely have a second life as well in most of these team fights, and the Seraphine Roots and Charm as Kalista. When you think about Kalista, you think about almost like a Beyblade, a spinning top that's flying through a team fight, loves to be up in close and personal and melee into a lot of champions, basically just be constantly doing that damage output. The problem is there's so many ways to stop the top from spinning in this draft here for Gen.G. And that's what I'm most concerned about for how this is going to work outside of lane, where obviously we're going to have some serious issues here in the 2v2.
Yeah, the 2v2, it is what it is. It's Ashe Seraphine. BNK know what they're getting themselves into. They say, well, we're never going to win the lane with what's available, so we're just going to pick this and play for outside the lane. Mid lane early on for Chovy is going to be very annoying as Orianna. This is what she does pretty much everybody, is not really allow you to have all that much fun. Chunks you out for relatively low mana costs and can make your life very miserable. But eventually you get some tank items, you know, can go hollowed. Radiance. That's what I was looking for. And then go into a bunch of armor or even into AP and just clear waves instantly.
I think in this game he'll probably go for the Riftmaker second. But we will see. And it's been pretty common in drafts like this that they'll have a ton of damage instead of one particular carry, which will be the Ashe in this game. CC is how you win the game as Gen.G, and they have a lot of it. Canyon is lurking in this brush. I don't know if he's going to like what he sees.
Yeah, the pings came down. They saw Canyon go into the bush, and so he was just looking to kite it out. Some wards get placed down here. They know exactly where Raptor is, so we'll see if our bottom laners, Ruler and Duro, are expecting the gank to come in because they're pretty far up the lane. They're keeping Diablo and Kellen at arm's length as the fears should be coming down here onto Ruler, who has already flashed. He's getting low, and it's first blood for Raptor in the bottom lane as Gen.G pushed up, and they got punished.
I'm not sure about that flash from Kellen, but it's enough to get the full set of summoners and the kill onto Ruler. Kill goes over to Raptor early, which is actually important for his stacks, as we zoomed through this replay really quickly. But the thing about the Nocturne is when you get the kills early, which you're not supposed to really, ideally for the enemy team, not supposed to be able to get those pre-6. That means your cooldown when you do have your ultimate is going to be so much faster, even on the first ult.
Yeah.
And so that is really, really important for the tempo of this game, not to mention the fact that now the Kalista has a significant advantage in terms of gold and is able to pick up Berserker Greaves right away. It is so huge for Diablo.
Yeah. And so now you got this top lane that's, you know, never going to be fun for Keen, but he picks the Zahen because he's dealing with a lot of close range members on the other side. Like, Gen.G's composition have a lot of tools when it comes to team fighting later on, but if bottom lane gets behind and top lane's already struggling and mid lane as well, maybe BNK can get some kind of momentum going, especially with just like a cheeky little early gank from the Nocturne that you wouldn't normally expect. It could be enough to, you know, kind of catapult them into the lead in the mid game and maybe win this one. So we'll have to wait and see how they manage this.
Certainly. A lot of the wins, the upset wins we saw from BNK and the dominant victory we saw yesterday over D+, were strategic choices, strategic drafts. Even there was a single game win they got over Gen.G, same story. And that type of pathing from Raptor, unusual, very strategic. Will get them a pretty nice lead here to start things off. We won't see Canyon commit further without his ultimate here to set up a dive. Smikla not going to go for the ult there. Chovy will just take the back. But bottom side here, you know, you get that extra lead. It isn't going to last very long, but it means that you're not playing just with one hand tied behind your back constantly in this game. It's money that you're otherwise not going to be able to get down there on the bottom side. Even just the assist feels like you're winning at life if you're the Kalista in this game.
Yeah. I was going to say, look who's back. I mean, Raptor's down here once again. I don't think he is trying to get the gank. I think he just wants to pick up the Scuttle Crab and hit 6 off of it. If he has done this correctly, he's also starting the Dragon, so... I
mean, I believe Ruler just did his first back, so he didn't have items. He had to back. They knew that, and they were like, all right, well, with no Ashe here, we can get the push through. Canyon's looking for a potential steal setup.
He's going to have to just kind of walk in, and he is going for it. Really wants this early drink. It comes down, and Canyon does it again. And even ults in with level 6 and forces the flash over the wall. But Raptor still gets the kill. Gen.G get the first straight, though.
I mean, Canyon is... He is not... I don't even want to say he's walking the tightrope. He's doing cartwheels over the tightrope with a blindfold on with the risks he is taking in this game. But he's like, Ambessa's got a lot of dashes. I'm going to show you just how many. Hope your smite finger's ready, Raptor, because this is how I'm going to play this fight. And even with the spell shield onto his ultimate from Raptor, he's still able to flash away. As Clear's looking for an aggressive play here as the empowered W.
Yeah, Keen in a little bit of trouble, but not really having enough pressure to get the kill. And yeah, I mean, Canyon, I don't know what it is against BNK. He's like, no, I'm just going to steal all of your things, as we do have the arrow coming down into Kellen. But, again, not enough pressure to actually drop the kill. But it's still a very nice early lead here for the side of BNK. 2 kills now for the side of Raptor. The bottom lane is going swimmingly, as good as you could hope for it to go, essentially. And now Now even looking for a little bit more. We get the zoom in, level 6.
Yeah, no flash here for Ruler still.
Oh,
He has enough space.
sidestep on the handshake.
And I think if they get anything there, like the handshake connects or Fate's Call is close enough to catch, the Raptor can look for an ult play. They still want to make something of this.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I mean, they know this is possible. Raptor's just going to run at them. And Ruler, I mean, there's really nothing he can do except barrier eventually. And now, with the paranoia coming in, he will pick up the kill on a Ruler in the bottom lane. And just like that, Raptor is 3-0 in this game.
Quintessential Raptor early game. He's just making it happen. Aggressive pathing, getting into the back line, going into the enemy jungle, and finding these wraparound angles. He is 100% KPs, all 3 of 3 on the kills. And he's pushed Ruler out of this bottom lane again. 400 gold here, the lead for Diablo. And now Gen.G in a really awkward spot in this early game. This is not the early game they were hoping for with this Ashe pick. As God, this play here from Canyon. Comes over, has the dashes, and gets in here. Wait for it. 1070. Getting lower, gets the smite, gets hand shook, ults, Raptor, spell shields it, still has enough distance, gets the flash, so forces the follow flash. And here Ruler goes to ward, and unfortunately finds out that his worst fears were realized. That guy's already here! And a really nice ult here from Raptor. The Paranoia allows him to close that gap one more time. And it's the second kill there onto the Ashe. And now he has Hex Plate as well, so the ults are coming, and they're coming fast.
Yeah. They absolutely are, and it's kind of insane what he has been able to manage early on as the arrow. The timing, excellent here on a Vikla, who does have his flash, but now a Canyon coming in. Vikla just going to throw a shockwave and a flash to try to get away, but he just TP'd here, so not a very comfortable position for our Orianna player.
I mean, the thing is, Ruler is just like, I've seen 1,000 TPs. I know that timing. I know where you're going to land. And he just says, you think you could just TP back to lane casually? I'm not going to allow it. There's no response. And then the follow-up from Chovy doesn't require flash. Really easy for him to just go up and get that taunt set up. So forces Vikla out of lane. Means that Raptor has to clean up things. It's a huge tempo swing here for Chovy in this mid lane. Obviously, the early game was tough. He's completely out of it now.
Yeah, he's just biding his time, trying to build up to that Hallowed Radiance. Some Raptors going to be stolen by Raptor? Stolen? I got there in the end. He does this very often, so kind of getting to me. He is going to take down that ward as well. Just trying to further his lead as much as possible. Canyon just trying to power farm to keep up as much as possible. Raptor's here. He has his ult, of course.
Yeah, Canyon is really far away. That root's going to buy some significant amount of time, and there's no wave, so...
They have flashes this time, though, so...
I just don't think they can commit without a wave.
Yeah.
Canyon even stops going over there. Goes straight to his Raptor camp. It's a calm before the storm in this game in a lot of ways. The BNK have generated a significant lead in the jungle and in the bottom and top lanes, but it's not enough to yet feel like they're in control of this game. They lost the Dragon to the Smite fight. Gen.G have so much to rest on in this game because they have the Ashe Seraphine comp, the anti-Callista, all the CC. And this Renekton hasn't been played through really just yet. See what he can do in these team fights because he's another melee that if he doesn't get charmed or rooted or taunted or ulted by Ambessa or skewered by Keen, can get a lot done.
It's a lot of things he has to
picking
avoid.
Up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
This.
Canyon is top lane, so this Dragon will be BNK's. And of course, this is calculated. Canyon not going to try to put his face on the line to try to steal once again. Raptor not even going to smite this one down, and it's Mountain Soul that does come in.
Wave is here a little bit for a potential Paranoia. They're not going to commit, though. It's just too thin. So it is just Dragon, like you say, into Mountain. And it's both of these comps love the Mountain. I think that the Callista in particular always enjoys some additional resistances, especially when she gets later on in the game and likely to pick up a Jack shows. So even individual Mountain Drakes feel quite nice. And we're just kind of playing this slow mid-game out, or we're cresting into the mid-game now. where the lead for B&K is huge in terms of the gold numbers. But how well can they translate that into getting this Kalista further ahead in the mid-game is the question they still have to answer. And why I think even a B&K fan is not ready to fully trust that they are in the driver's seat in this game just yet, as Raptor has done so much. I don't think he could do any more in this game, and yet still feel like he's going to have to if they're going to hold on to this gold advantage.
Yeah, I mean, fed Nocturne, again, can be very scary. You know, Vikla doesn't need to be fed to put the ball onto Raptor and press R onto Seraphine, which should be the main target, or even Ashe, you know, depending on the situation. But if you could take away a lot of that utility in the very beginning of the fight before he's even able to press any buttons, you're going to love it. And now they're actually trying to get onto Chovy here, it looks like. Want to utilize this Nocturne as much as possible. The taunt comes down and Chovy gets phase rush, so he's just, that's not going to work.
Might be able to make something happen in the bottom lane if they commit the roam from Vikla. Vikla has just not been spending any time outside of lane. Doesn't have his teleport, and he's still, you know, early days here on this Rod build he's going for, which I know is going to make a lot of people roll their eyes in this game. But he doesn't really hurt that much the enemy champions anymore. With the build that Chovy's gone, he's just able to walk it off every single thing that Vikla throws at him. And with no TP here, if he committed to a roam, could backfire immensely. The game is just, again, slowed down to a halt, and that gold lead, if you pulled up the graph, you'd see it's dropped about 50% here for B&K, what they had before. Still grouping now that they have the side lane Orianna to potentially look for a pick in the bottom lane. And there isn't really anything else they can go for. I mean, they have immaculate vision around this dragon, but it doesn't spawn for 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, Raptor's just trying to hover around Vikla, and Chovy's like, dude, I know you're here.
Yeah.
Very obvious, and also I have a ward. And again, Chovy's just such a difficult target to take down just with the two of them.
I mean, there is like one ward on the whole map for Gen.G. Okay, there's 3. One of them was covered earlier. There's the control ward, then those 2 wards defensively on the bottom side of the map.
We got a couple over here as well.
But the like map is completely red otherwise. Like, they have done such a great job of choking Gen.G out of the bottom side of the map without getting kills, and then making sure they can continue to apply that pressure without any consequences. And, you know, that means that it allows you to pull Gen.G around, grab some additional plate gold in the mid lane, keep that Kalista ahead. We have to keep asking the question, is this enough of a lead? The TP will come through for Chovy. They're just going to catch this wave. The Herald is up, so they lost prio here on that TP from the teleport from Chovy. Let's see how B&K play this. They do have clear with TP. He's going to grab a plate himself. And actually, Gen.G back away.
Yeah. Gen.G are backing off of the canyons down on the bottom side. We saw clear actually going in. But yeah, they are going to see Raptor moving over here, and I think they're just electing to say, well, at this point in time, you got a Kalista on one item, the Nocturne is gigantic. Let's not take any risks.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. You know, you do have Zahen, you've got Mbessa, you've got Ashe. I do feel like, you know, given enough time, a little bit more tankiness, maybe you can sneak some of the dragons. If they get into a 5v5 team fight and not die to the Nocturne, they're going to be in a good spot, and I think they can do that a little bit better.
However,
a little bit later in the game.
I agree with the choice from Gen.G, because this is how you could lose the game with certainty, is losing a fight there.
Yeah.
But the Herald value is, I mean, you're not going to feel like good about dropping this Herald, because if they kill that mid turret, this fed Nocturne is just completely unleashed on the map. He can do whatever he wants, and Ruler will never be able to farm without assistance, will never be able to farm without help, or he would just be obliterated, especially with Bailout, you know, potentially on the cards with Kellen being nearby. It is so easy to just constantly keep him underfoot. And so this is an extremely high value Herald, especially because the timing of this with the Dragon guarantees prio here. Now, they don't necessarily be able to get the whole turret here, but it is going to be a big chunk. And that prio guarantees that they get this Dragon set up here.
I feel like it's a little bit early from the side of B&K, but they get total control over the river, which is the main thing. They have the sticks in the Dragon from the Kalista. Surely they can just time the smites here. The ult is not going to land, and oh no! Not like this, B&K!
My God, I don't know, my everything just flashed before my eyes watching that volley come through. Because you and I both knew, like, that 57 health is not it. It was way too early. 57's not, it's not a high number, but in terms of smites, it is high enough.
Oh, and now they want to dive. This could be, they're not going to land the arrow, but it's still a lot underneath this turret, and Clear has nowhere to run, and they're just so tanky already.
And just like that, the advantage that BNK had feels completely washed away, all gone, erased.
And now Diablo's trying to get plates here. I think he'll be okay, but you can feel the pressure from him. He wants to get as much as possible.
Gen.G take a gold lead. They take control over the map. They take their second dragon of the game. And for BNK, they opted. They opted to commit to the smite there and just get out, not try to force a fight, just say dragon's enough. And they did that. But one early smite after Canyon wasn't in the pit, you could just go sub-smite range to make sure. Watch Ruler here.
When did they do this? Oh, it's 2,000. That's... I mean, it doesn't... You can wait just a little bit more. Like, as long as it's above 1,400.
Yeah, yikes. It's... okay.
And now, in live, Vikla shockwaved, and now he's going to try to flash away. Canyon says, you're not getting away from Ambessa that easily. I will collect the kill. And bad turns to worse for BNK as Gen.G. They will feast on any amount of room you give them.
It's looking like this game might be heading towards sunset territory for BNK's composition. And I hate to say it, but in game one, their comp had so many holes in it into what Gen.G had. In game two, I like their composition better, but it's so all in and so strong at only certain moments in the game. If you really lose control, because they had all the edge they need to win the game. They had all of the setup. Like, they had the Fed Nocturne, they got the Herald, they had Dragon setup, and it's just dominoes falling one after the other. And you can't climb out of the hole with this composition if it falls behind enough. I think maybe BNK get one more fight, one more opportunity, one more bailout angle potentially, or some crazy Nocturne Orianna combo. But I think one more chance in this game is all they'll get. They mess that up, they're unable to get it. I mean, it'll be soul point for Gen.G if the dragon is secured once again for them.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be avoiding fights. They want to fight with the strongest. Is yeah,
that's going to be the Fate's Call already utilized. You do see the taunt immediately as he comes down, and Kellen has to flash out. Meanwhile, he gets charmed up by the Seraphine, not in a very good spot. Bailout on Diablo, he immediately dies. And Raptor all alone. It's a very broken up fight for BNK, but it's 5 men strong for Gen.G. As Chovy, he is hunting that backline, and he will make that play happen.
3 seconds on Baron. 3 seconds on Baron when this happens.
It's free. It's free.
It's so free. There is no jungler. There's no damage. Vikla doesn't have Shockwave. He's sitting on a Rod of Ages that's not complete. He can't hurt a fly. This Baron is just going to go down right away, and Clear is just going to hope to trade it for a turret here with Vikla. But that fight was the last chance I was alluding to. And it slips through their fingers. They get absolutely crushed. Gen.G snatch this victory away in a split second. Baron's up. Suddenly, what was a 1,500, nearly 2,000 gold lead for BNK for all of the early game is now a massive lead for Gen.G here. As the arrow comes through, the root's there, they get the Fate's Call, and then it goes in onto Chovy for some reason. Flashes, but the charm is already out. It's a double charm here with the extension, and it's just easy as pie. Frankly, to clean up with this trap, this Gen.G, they get a single CC, and it's just layers upon layers, and that Kalista top maybe never is going to be spinning in this one.
Yeah, I mean, the way BNK win fights, if this were a more even game, is through the Orianna Nocturne combo. You get the follow-up. You know, Kellen throws himself in a little bit of engage Renata, right? Everybody piles on with essentially 5 melee, it feels like. But if you're getting engaged on and Kellen's throwing himself into a Galio just to get taunted and Diablo's left all alone, you're not winning a single fight. And especially not when you're this far behind. As now Vikla just runs into them, and Gen.G say thank you very much. We will pass go and collect 370 as we do have the taunt coming down the charm there on a Diablo. As he's just running away, and Gen.G are just styling on them now. A root comes down on a Clear as he's free food as well. And it's looking a lot like solo queue. And BNK are just getting rolled now, 20 minutes into the game.
Yeah, it's just 7,000 gold lead now. This turret is just dead. And Gen.G can go ahead and grab soul point. They seem only vaguely interested in that, as they'll send Canyon over alone.
They're like, I guess.
I guess
sure.
an inhibitor is pretty appealing. With Diablo nearby and 4 seconds on Vikla, they might not be able to get that whole inhibitor, but they're so ahead. I think they could have gone for the try. Instead, they'll send Chovy over here. They'll take out an additional turret. And 7,000 turns to nearly 9,000 gold, the advantage.
Yeah.
So point in pocket. And watch this isn't even chain CC onto Vikla. They both just kind of aim at him, and he dies.
No flash, just running at them.
Like, both of the CCs were just angled the same way towards him at, like, different cross angles.
Yeah.
He's hit by both, he's dead. He has no flash, as you mentioned, and he's coming in on a flank angle. They read it, they destroy. And then from here, it's just, this comp is so oppressive from ahead. You just keep going in.
Yeah,
And
everybody
one
full
hostile
health.
takeover is just, it's like the only thing you have. It's feeble in comparison.
Yeah, it
It's like
feels
putting
very
your hand
sad.
up against a
All right, they're gonna try for it, Wolf, as I don't think I saw a shockwave. There it is, and he's just gonna flash it. And now, in goes Canyon. He says, jump, I will take the kill. And picks up 2, picks up 3. And that's the one thing about BNK. They will never back down from a fight, even if they're 10,000 gold behind. But sometimes it just looks like this, and it's not very fun for them. Gen.G, though, having a ball, just running them down. Vikla gonna flash away. And maybe for now he will survive. But the game is over. The game was over. It felt like 10 minutes ago.
The good news is his Rod of Age is completed.
Oh.
That's the only good news, Valdez.
Yeah, that's going to be the end of Clear, and it looks like the end of Game 2 going heavily in favor of Gen.G, just like that. You gave them an inch, one failed play, and Gen.G said, thank you very much. We will take the game from here. 2-0 for Gen.G, as they are looking like the strong favorites to take this LCK Cup.
Going toe-to-toe with each other. These players, despite not lifting a Worlds title here on the side of Gen.G, with the exception of Ruler and Canyon, this org hasn't lifted one in a while, have so much international experience, and most of these BNK players.
정레드 20초.
보트 정글 노플.
정레드 자연 그냥 몸 부르면서 할만한가?
할만해. 갈리오 궁도 돌려와.
나 할만?
야 미드 잘. 봐줄게. 이쪽 올래? 빼면서 해. 나 꼬바. 여기 내가 다.
야 우리도
야 오자. 천천히 보자. 거의 4대 5야.
이긴 거.
이겼어. 나 끝내러 가자.
이긴 헬로.